Hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today. Oh yeah, hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Good Enough Today, the podcast where we share stories from people who are living authentically, even when life gets hard. I'm your host, Cheremma Lee, and today we have a very special guest who is standing up for those with prostate cancer and helping to bring awareness. We're talking to Mr. Michael Muffy Collins. Welcome, Muffy. I'm glad you're here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Really?
Awesome. I know that it's taken some logistics to get us together, but I really am sincerely happy to be in your presence virtually. Of course, you're in Chicago, the Windy City, and we start each podcast the same way. Tell me, how are you doing today, physically, emotionally, and mentally?
I feel good.
Okay.
I went my daily walk this morning after, dropping the kids off to school. I feel good. About that. Mentally, I'm at a great place. This was a rough year for me. I've lost two to cancer. Your family members. Lost my daughter's mother to breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
Just day by day, getting into, everything, but can't complain,
All right. So if you had to put a number from 1 to 10 on that, let's say physically, what would you say you are right now?
Physically, I'm at about a 9.
Oh man, you guys are killing me. If I can get to a 9, mommy, Lord. Okay, so emotionally, where are you at today?
Emotionally, about 8, 9. Have your moments sometimes when it comes to death, and inside your mind, wonders and a lot of questions pop up.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And then mentally, where would you say you are?
Mentally, I think I'm at a 10. I want to say I believe I'm at a 10.
Okay. You have to mentor me when this is over, because I'm trying to get to where you are on that 10. I don't know, a 10 day. I think it's also momentary, right? Because sometimes I might feel like a 10 at that moment, and then in an hour or so, that 10 kind of reduces a little bit. I wanted to touch on a couple of things. You run an organization called Run From Prostate Cancer. What made you start that?
That's a great question. That's always the number one question I get, because I am 42 years old, and it's like, it's always the why prostate cancer. And so when I was 27, 28 years old, there were roughly between 11 and 12 guys that I knew personally. So it's uncles, my friends' fathers, some grandfathers as well too, and they were having prostate cancer stage 1, 2, 3, and I think it was 2 or 4. And they were between 42 to 48, 49 years old.
Wow.
So this isn't written. So I was like, okay. I started to get worried. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'll be in my 40s, in like 12 years.
Yes.
I have to do something. I got because it started to scare me, because you hear about like lung cancer, diabetes, breast cancer, liver, and kidney failure. So like in the Black community across America, especially Chicago, we had a real bad drug problem. A lot of kidney infections, from the heroin users and things like that. So me having like the basic street knowledge to my college education, into my previous background from sports, I played basketball in college. I wanted to connect the dots. Like, you gotta meet our guys halfway. You just can't say, hey, you gotta go to the doctor, because some of them haven't been to the doctor since they were maybe 18 years old,
Yes.
So that's a common thing across everywhere in America. Women, you all go to them every year. Non-negotiable. Anything is wrong, you're going to the doctor, right?
Yes.
Well, guys, that's the first question we asked. So that was the reason why I started the foundation, to get men active and to getting screened on a regular basis. So stuff that I love to do, that most men love to do, is sports. So now I
Right.
got you.
You
So we created.
had to trick them. You had to trick them.
you got you got to use everything. And so we created a high school basketball tournament and a men's tournament. We created a 5K walk, 5K walk and run, and we started doing a prostate health seminar. So we get these doctors. At first, it was so tough. Like it just took me. It just had a flashback. It was so tough to get doctors in because even a Jewish doctor communicated with me. They were taught not to communicate with Black men about prostate cancer because of the numbers are so high.
Oh, wow.
And that was in real time. So for 2 straight years, I couldn't get a doctor to speak from our highest medical institutions that we have. So, and our foundation, our headquarters is right by University of Chicago.
Right.
Which
That's crazy.
on the south side of Chicago. This is the 3rd richest institution in the world. All right. So a lot of resistance there because blocks away, we're in the Woodlawn community. So we're still the 2nd poorest community in Chicago. But so close to you. So how can I do my job? Because it's not going to happen overnight, but what can I do to get the wheels turning, to get the conversations? So I didn't stop. The obstacles were, we were going up against American Cancer Society,
right?
And all these research programs that headquartered at the United States. So there was a VP there, pretty much ran everything cancer related. And so we had to go through her, and there was a meeting by my name being Michael Collins. It's a white name, right? It's the number 1 name in Ireland, right? So
I actually looked that up. I looked you up and I kept getting Ireland.
So they were under the impression that it was a white guy helping Black men out in the Black communities because communicate. So I get there, they set this big meeting up. The room was beautiful. I've never seen this before. We was ready to have a good conversation and how we could take a deep dive into saving Black men lives. So I get there, the meeting was canceled within 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Well, within 2 minutes, yeah. Unfortunately, we came up busy. It was all these excuses. We can no longer meet. And this is actually before our first annual event that took place, our event. So I was so discouraged. I just felt deflated. You know what I mean? I was like, how did this happen? And I thought you all would be on board with our men coming. It didn't happen that way. So fast forward, year 3, we're able to team up with Northwestern University. And Black urologists who happen to be one of the best in the country. So we're able to connect the dots, get screenings every quarter, whether men have insurance or not. So that's how we were able to kind of number crunch and communicate with, with the community. But it's still a lot of work. Still a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. Okay, so I've got a ton of questions. You said a lot there, and I got a couple of questions because one of the first things you said is that men typically they avoid going to the doctor to get these screenings and checkups and stuff like this. But you did something differently. You saw the problem and you were like, wait a second, I'm afraid of it. And then you ran toward the problem. You said, let me check, let me get screened and let me help other people get screened because I'd rather know and figure it out and know that I can get treated. And then let me help other people know. What makes you think that you had that mindset as opposed to let me avoid it? And then how does that help you to meet other guys where they are in their fear of getting checked?
I say this all the time. I think the advantage that I had was I was able to go away to college and to speak in different rooms and travel the world as well. So my thought process may be different from someone that had never left the neighborhood or the block. Yeah. So they don't really have that and the importance of it because he doesn't have that representation.
Gotcha.
Tough. I'm good. I'm okay. It's like, no, we have to go because these are the numbers. And that was the change of it. And then meeting the guys halfway, like I said before, you have to. I feel like if I have the knowledge, if I have the education, I have like the basic common sense of it, why am I not helping these individuals out? Because these men that I speak of, they protected us in the 90s. They forced us to go to school because they didn't have the education. They couldn't go. They were hustling in the streets. Just real like, real city things that we go through. So I felt like since this is my turn to reinvest into individuals that may have walked us to school, gave us a ride to school, gave us lunch money, whatever it is to keep us going in a positive direction, I felt this is my way to give back.
Okay. And so the other thing that you mentioned, which is kind of, I would say I'm surprised, but sadly I don't think that I am, but you couldn't find a doctor to come and speak about it because it was a revolving door. So in my mind, they were always going to fail, right? If they're trying to get to the Black community and the numbers are rising, there's no way to win. And so you couldn't find someone willing to take on that fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was tough. We sent, this is no exaggeration, I think we sent out over 75 or 76 emails just to get a doctor to come in to speak, which is so much resistance. We're on the south side of Chicago, so it's already, you're all in a rough neighborhood. So that we do our events at an art gallery, safest place to come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm preventing the excuses to come.
Gotcha.
Way.
Yeah.
So like you got to do all these tricks and stuff to have that basic communication. About 3 years ago, we got an email from a director, a sister that took over the role at University of Chicago. So her name was Powell of being discredited, looked over things like that, and she called. And when I saw the number, I was like, there's no way University of Chicago. Maybe they may need some data or something. And she said, I want to apologize on behalf of University of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And that felt so good because she knew what we went through and she was able to correct some things. So they're building a 575,000 square foot facility for cancer. And so we'd be a part of that whole process as well. So things have changed, but if I gave up, we would never have this conversation. So I just want to go.
So why are the numbers from your experience or your research and the things that you've encountered, why are they so high for Black men?
Our environment. So we start off by the pollution, right? Where we live, most neighborhoods in the Black community across America, highways, right? They destroyed our communities, right? So we just talking about just the basic facts, right? Surface level. Then we talk about the chemical in our soil, our water. We can use places like Flint, for example, but there's more Flints around the nation that doesn't get the attention. All right. So then we deal with restaurants in the neighborhood, healthy food deserts. We have fast food on every corner. So this is what we're dealing with: low fruit and vegetable intake, high fried foods, anything, hypertension, diabetes, blood pressure, have it. And that causes mucus, inflammation, all the things that dive into cancer. So, and men aren't going to the gym. That's not a gym in the community. Men aren't running. Men aren't walking. Not all, but we're talking about the percentage that it affects.
Right.
And of course, time, it builds up. So when you look at over the past 40 years, the percentage, they said it's going down, but you look at the Black communities, it's still on a rise because the education is not across the board there, right? So we've said, let's do the screenings more often. Let's get on calls around the country to see what is the feedback in different neighborhoods. So we've had over 4 different families that we're still doing research on 4 generations that all have prostate cancer. And we are asking the question, what are you eating? It's the same thing. It's a lot of meat. Meat leads to you can't digest. It takes a long time. So it's processed. It's sitting in your system, in your colon. And if you're not flushing those bad foods out, now we have colon cancer. The colon close to the prostate gland. So now your arteries are clogged from all this bad food you've been eating for so long. So it creates disease. So these are why our numbers are so high, where we can never tell someone how to eat. But we give examples of, like, people say, well, where am I get my protein from? The gorilla's the strongest thing in the world. Never ate meat. High vegetable intake, right? Okay. So it's like you got to change the perspective and give the information, like, from different angles to help out. All of our events are all from a vegan standpoint. We're highlighting the proper fruits, the vegetables, the juicing, and the detoxing as well too, which we find it brings your PSA levels down, so that's your point level for your prostate. So we highly recommend, guys, zinc. You need zinc. Zinc, it shrinks the prostate gland. It actually prevents you from getting sick too, as well.
Okay.
It's your body to survive.
All right, so I'm going to challenge you a little bit here, Muffy, because I know that this is what I would say if I was you. Like, hey, I hear you and I understand the benefits, but I'm not going to go so extreme and just go straight vegan from what I know and have done. And I can't afford to be vegan. So let's say I am the average person that might not have access to healthy food all the time, right? So say I'd have to travel to get it and things like that. So if we take away most of the excuses, and I'm doing the best that I can, but I'm not ready to make that step as far as going completely vegan, then what can I do as the average man? What does that look like to at least try to protect myself as much as possible without being so extreme that I'm setting myself up for failure?
Yeah, so we get that. That's a beautiful question, and I'm so glad you asked, because that's a question that comes up all the time. So we have a herbalist that come out, a nutritionist, as well as a doctor, and so it's always a response. You better see us first before you see the doctor. And so everyone says that being a vegan is expensive. It's not true. It's not. Meat is so expensive. We compare prices at some of you.
Okay.
Educate me, Muffy. You buying steak, bacon, all this stuff. So you can get pounds of vegetables, fruit, maybe $25-$30. Ribs, steak, maybe for one package may cost you $25 by itself. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it's all about perspective, though, because we've been so conditioned in America to, like, believe one thing as soon as we hear. And you know this, we barely do research. You know, we do research on what we want to do research on. Right?
Yes.
And everybody laughs about that because our herbalist, she is so funny, but she breaks it down in a way where you can receive the information, you know. And to give yourself grace, but try. You know what I mean? Just give yourself a chance. We actually had one guy that came, he was stage 2. And we sent him over a diet. And we use an example all the time. We told him to fast for 10 days, no food, just the green tea and the herbs. He goes back to his visit. It was like a 25-day period where they would do the screenings. His point levels went down by a whole point. And so once you're fasting, and we encourage, and everyone's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, this is not us. This is from the beginning of time. You have to fast for your body. You got to give your colon a break. The mucus boxes out. And so we have someone to talk about that as well too. Together, we have a support group where people are texting each other like, hang in there. It's one more day. We start with a 3-day fast, so the support is there, but it's about starting it and then being motivated to start to live a better lifestyle. So what helped us out a lot. I wish we had the content, but like HIPAA, we just can't do like screening, like the film in there. We
Yes.
do a app tour every quarter. So guys get to see what it looks like to fill up a hard prostate gland and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is serious.
Mhm.
And so
Well,
it puts you on.
here's the thing I think that I'm struggling with, and I think that most people will struggle with, because if it's not impacting me right now, and I don't see it as an issue until it hits me, and I hear the comment, I'm gonna die from something anyway, right? So I might as well enjoy my life while I can. Right. So I'm gonna eat the good stuff because I'm gonna go vegan. I'm not gonna be able to go to restaurants. I'm not gonna be able to do this. And so, I think that people in our mindset, it has to be a mindset shift, right? But also it's like, okay, but there are steps to get there, right? So do you guys mostly see people go straight vegan, like they're cold turkey, no more meat, I'm cutting you off? Or is it a gradual process? Like, okay, I'm going to do fish and chicken, or just fish. I'm going to do pescatarian, and then I'm going to go vegetarian, and then I'm going to go vegan. But what's that process generally look like?
We've seen both. We've seen both sides. And that's when we bring the farmers market out to our events. So people kind of get like, just test it out just to see. And the good thing is they make things that people are, I didn't know this was vegan. Now, all this actually made from plants. So we tell people all the time, we can't live for you. We can help you the best way that we can and do what's right for you. Because like you said, I'm not at risk now, that's we here, but in 4 to 5 years. So we put it in perspective where I say you have a mortgage or you paying rent, whatever it is. So how can you afford to be sick and you have all these bills? And then we're going to the hospital, then treatments. So that's what the brothers say. See us before you got to see them. And it's a good change because even when you calculate the dollar amount throughout the year, you're saving so much money by being healthier. You're saving so much. And it's the results are there. So I think that even with both sides of the spectrum, it's a process, say the very least, but we can get there. It's a step by step. Like some people have went cold turkey, like I don't want this anymore. They may have seen a video on social media or something like that. They may, gross them out and they just went cold turkey. You got some people, like you said, they take their steps. Okay, I do fish and chicken, and then I'll, ease myself off of it. So we seen both.
Okay. And so I know that the screening for prostate cancer has always been a thing, right? Like, nope, not doing that, not doing that. Have you seen a shift in the perspective, right? Have we gotten past that now, or are men still averse to like, no, that's not happening? How are you guys getting past that stigma?
That's always funny. Some guys that I drag from the barber shop like, hey, it's like, man, ain't nobody going inside of me. So, I'm like, no, technology has advanced so much. And this is the education standpoint too, what we missed out on along the years. They draw your blood. They check your PSA levels, right? So your levels come back in 3 to 4 business days. So it takes it's a 2-minute process. Fill your name out, date of birth. It's the basics. It's so plain and simple where it's like, there's no excuses for it. So you get your results back 3 to 4 business days, and it tells your point level. So if it's not where it's supposed to be, you contact the number, and they're going to follow with an email and a phone call to hold you accountable and say, hey, this is what we see. We want you to come in. We might have to go inside you now to see how it feels, right? When we communicate that part, doing that helps some. That's why it's so important to get the information out. Now it's like, oh, but man, I'm just saying, ain't nobody doing that. So a woman gives birth. baby is coming.
Right.
All right. We're just talking about the pain that you all go through. Monthly cramps.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you could think of. And you all just like champs. Like, all right, well, that's another day. You know what I mean? And so we had to like break that down to the guys for them to understand, like, bro, we got,
So, yeah,
you know, yeah, we
oh, God.
about the needles, like it's a needle, but you got tattoos on your body. So
Right.
it's perspective, right?
And I say that because I think that, when you're afraid of something, right, everything else that comes along with it, even if it's a tiny fear of needles, I'm already afraid of the process, right? And I don't want you to tell me that something's wrong. And then you also want to add a needle or the possibility that somebody's going to have to touch me in ways that I feel uncomfortable with. No, I'm out. But it's so crazy to me that men would rather die. Like, I feel like if we're balancing it out, a little discomfort on the front end to not have to face death, I think I think that it's worth the risk, I think. But
it is. I'll say that, like you said, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
yes,
The ego and the pride has to, we gotta remove it. Because that's a part of what we've been going through in our community for so long. So I'm telling you, go to the doctor. This is 3 to 4 out of 10 the guys. They'll go. And then they'll tell their friends. But if I'm saying I ain't going, that creates its own little algorithm on its own where it's like, man, I ain't going either. So we have to keep pushing that positive synergy, like, no, let's go. And so we encourage women, because we have a lot of women that come to our events too.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a Q&A, which is always interesting. It's always, and it's funny because it's real life. We laugh at real life stuff because some people can relate to it. It's creating this event called His and Hers. And we do this every year. And it's His and Hers Health Day. And we encourage couples to come out. Hold each other accountable for like health, take each other to the doctor. Most importantly, we team up with some support groups. What it looks like if my lady or wife has breast cancer, like how am I supporting her? Doctor, all those things. So these support groups are amazing. Like I tell you, your services are so beautiful. Even with the men. Some men stubborn, don't want to go to the doctors, all these things. And so we have this at the event where it gives out the information, just the basic stuff. You take it or leave it, but we're here to offer it to you. So we made it so inclusive where we have a colon specialist, a cervical specialist, ovarian cancer specialist, lung, heart disease, prostate, I'm missing an organ. But in breast, we have all these specialists in the room to have this big roundtable conversation, because it's always, I didn't know that. And we need those conversations, especially in our community. And so it's been a number of growth of men going to get screened for everything after leaving the conference that we have. So it's still a lot of work, but the women are doing an amazing job of getting their guys out, because when we have it to my events, especially our walks, so many women come. My dad passed from prostate cancer, my uncle, brother, and they're talking about this in real time. I had to take him to the doctor all the time. His friends didn't want to go. This is a common thing that goes on. So I praise our sisters for like just fighting the fight, like
And I think that's what you're talking about is just supporting one another through that process. So at what age should a guy start getting screened for prostate cancer?
I say this, the medical institution, they've been telling Black men, and we have some crazy feedback about this as well too. You don't have to get screened until you're 50. And I'm like, hold on. We died in our 40s from this disease. 40. So that means that this has been building up in our system for 5 to 10 years, whatever it is, right? So No, 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 no. When our phlebotomists come out, the age changed from 50 to 45 to 40. This is within a 5-year span because it's so many deaths.
Yes.
We encourage men in their 30s to get screened. That's what we do. 30 because you've been eating chemical for so long, this bad food for so long. We even encourage your colon to be screened. And then brother Chad Moser that passed away at 45 years old from colon cancer. He passed away at 5. So we don't know how long he was dealing with that. We assume maybe 4 to 5 years. My grandmother died from colon cancer when I was 16.
Right.
He was 52 years old. So we talk about, are we really screening in our communities as we should? And so that's why we say, no, younger, go to that doctor and say, I have a history of this in my family, so they have to speed up the process. And that actually helps out. So I encourage all the brothers, if you eat dairy and meat, which causes mucus in the system, if your sugar intake is high, you need to be at that doctor twice a week. I don't care what they say.
Yes. And I think that's the part, right? Advocating for yourself. And sometimes that gets tough, right? Because the doctors will tell you something. You're like, I don't know about that. And you kind of want, ignorance is bliss though, too. So you're like, yes, I'm out of here, right? They said I don't have to go. Sometimes that's not really what's good for you. But I want to make sure that we're doing all we can to support men and you and your organization. But also, we got to get those numbers down, right? Prostate cancer, I feel like if there's something that we can do about it, and I'm always one that it doesn't have to be an extreme for how you change your lifestyle, but making some changes, at least start something to give yourself a better chance, especially for those people who know that cancer runs in their family. I spoke to a doctor once about the diseases that are rampant in the Black community as far as high blood pressure and cholesterol and things like that. So, well, it's not really a genetic thing. It's a little bit of genetics, but the environmental factors are the same from generation to generation. And that makes the genetics present themselves the same way. So if you're eating the same foods and doing the same things that your grandma was doing, then yes, the genetics are going to play out in the same way. And I think that that's important for us to recognize, because it seems like being vegan or eating clean, right, is so far off from what we see, especially when if you went to a food festival, right, you're not gonna you might see a couple of vegan options, but then I feel like I can't engage and be social because I can't eat and drink and do the things that I want to. And so I think that there's just got to be some more awareness around what that looks like. And then also, there are stages to this. And even if maybe you do eat meat, but you eat more vegetables than you do, like there can be a balance here that gives you a better chance. Give yourself a better chance than what we're giving ourselves. And I think that's helpful. I do want to ask though, what is the hardest thing for you and then we're going to talk a little bit about you. Usually I do this the flip way. I strip all your stuff away and then I talk about you first and then I talk about the organization. But I was so intrigued by what you said about the prostate cancer that I was like, oh, no, we got to hit this now. But what's the hardest part though of running this organization and trying to keep fighting this fight?
I think the hardest part is so much red tape, because we're advocating for Black men. So it's a lot of red tape. And to be honest with you, like we're small, right? We are a small organization. We make a lot of impact. We've had Zero Prostate Cancer, the humongous Prostate Cancer Foundation. This is why on a Prostate Cancer Foundation get about $35-40 million a year in funding. Come to our events. I'm missing someone else. American Cancer Society wants to steal our data. So we're doing something right. We're just going to keep going at our speed, right? And so, Of course, we would do with millions of dollars. It'd be prostate cancer facilities all across Black America.
Right.
So it'd be a gym in there, it'd be this, it'd be to get Black men healthy, which would decrease the violence, have us living longer, have us setting better examples for our community, all the positive things. So we know when these big institutional organizations approach us, we know what they want. They want to see exactly what we're doing. And so just to be honest with you, like, it's sometimes I be like, damn, we still here. Like, we are here, minimal funding. We do have support from University of Chicago and Northwestern now, but we stay committed to our mission and our passion on what we're going to do. And we come up on year number 10 next year. 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, we do a 5K walk run every. We actually have 2 next year for Chicago, and we'll be going to Charlotte, Miami, and Atlanta next year. So just to see that grow, I'm happy about it. It gets hard at times because you be like, okay, we got to make it work.
Yes.
I know communicate with you because of what the powers to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we can't think about that, but just keep going in that direction. But I think the most important thing that we did was to include other health organizations like colon specialists. We did an event with Miss Candace Henley, who survived colon cancer 23 years ago. And she was tell the story. She has an amazing colon cancer foundation. Like, she gets so many people screened. I'm like, listen, let's do something together.
Yes.
About cool stuff, had a health event in a parking lot, and with so many people, we got over 50 people screened for HIV, colon and prostate. So that's some progress in the community. That's one day. You know, we still have work to do, but it's those they also made the harder days easier by seeing like-minded people. And like, even like you reaching out, this is an impact because we're communicating about something that's so powerful. And this is a Black media company. So that's very, very important. I appreciate you again for this.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, when we talk about good enough today, I talk about it in a lot of different ways because, of course, you know, this is my thing. But I am really invested in helping people to be the best that they can be. And especially in the Black and brown communities where we don't necessarily get sincere positivity and uplifting for the things that will help us to thrive. And I think that there's enough out here for all of us to come together and kind of figure out how we can help each other, and then helping our local communities too. So you might be an inspiration to somebody here locally that's like, you know, I was thinking about doing this. And Muffy looks like a normal guy. He seems just like me. I could do it if he can do it, right? And so creating that platform for people to see people in that representation, I think it matters a lot. And I think, yes, actually a really good segue into how, because, you know, I asked the question initially, what made you decide to like start doing this as opposed to running the opposite direction? But have you always been someone who has wanted to make a difference or a change?
Yeah, it goes back to I have a lot of leadership awards. I have a lot of like community, and this goes back to when I was young, and I never thought about this until my grandmother, she spoke about it 2 months ago, and she said, you know, you have a lot of leadership, and I never thought about it because that was representation. So both of my grandmothers went to high school together. One that passed, she ran a sports program. She was a track and field All-American. She did a lot of stuff in her community, which is the Woodlawn community where I'm at now. She worked for the post office for 35 years. And she trained and developed so many people in the community, where I saw that, and I saw what my grandfather has done as well in terms of just like support, taking everybody to the grocery store, gardening. I mean, just all the things. He was a neighborhood giant. And my and so many others. So That's the representation I saw. Yeah, we had so many people get lost along the way. Like my father was in the streets. My parents had me young, so they were trying to find their way. I have a lot of uncles and cousins, the same exact thing. So me seeing that and going away to school, I got to meet people from all over the world. I said, okay, I can bring this back to my community. I can do something positive. And I've seen people in my family change that follow my footsteps, and they do stuff. I'm like, damn, y'all clean all this stuff up. I next time. So so it's cool. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But it goes to show you, like, we really can help each other out.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how did you end up going away for college? I know you said you play sports. Well, you didn't want to play close to home, or how did that work out?
I wanted to get away. I really did. Like, my childhood was very interesting, to say the very least. It was a humongous family. So I was born at Robert Taylor Home Housing Projects. This was the largest housing project in the world. So this place was, I still had dreams and nightmares and things about it, but so much, I saw a lot of death at an early age there. And my mother, by being young and just, I mean, street life, old Chicago it was real. It was a thing where so many individuals tried to get themselves out. They just didn't have any outlets. Drugs came in hard. It was something that you seen. It was like a movie. So seeing that, us moving out to our neighborhood that we migrated to from Louisiana and Tennessee, my greats. So seeing that, and my aunt going away to college for journalism, and she was a producer at Teen Summit. So me having my passport at an early age, traveling with her, seeing so much other stuff for my cousins, they didn't care for it. Honestly, we have
Right.
members that were like, all right, whatever, that's y'all. We're gonna hustle. We're gonna do this. So seeing those things, going to her college classrooms, and we spend a little time in Wisconsin as well, which is not far from here. More drug infested environment. It's pretty much the same thing. So because it's so close, we have Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Gary, Indiana, and all this is with a few other. It's the same. It's the same thing. So basketball was my outlet. I was able to get a scholarship to go to school. It was some place I could have picked closer to home, but I said I want to get away. And I had a lot of friends going to prison at that time, federal penitentiary. So I'm just getting out. 2 years ago, and my number is still the same. So it's like, get this over. And just go on. Yeah, that was why I left. That was to get away.
That, I think that if you can remember back to what it felt like when you left, right? Were you scared? I think there's an excitement that goes along with it, but were you intimidated by it? And then when you left, were you like, I need to go back home? Like, how did that feel for you, getting out of your environment, actually doing it once you did it?
It was a breath of fresh air for me. It was like it was something different. It was a slower pace for me. But I saw it was so unique because some of our summers we had spent. I just remember being a breath of fresh air. Like I didn't have any fear of leaving. It was just so many of my peers that were going to prison, federal penitentiary. It was just a different outlook at that time. So I wanted to get away. And I just remember, what it was like. We would travel down south often in the summer times, like a week, go to Memphis, we go to New Orleans. That's where our greats were from. And so family time and things like that. So the sort of place I was familiar with, but not like from an everyday standpoint. There were times I'd be like, okay, there's no sidewalks, you know what I mean? I can't, you can catch so I was a little used to that. Like we'll just go walk down the street to the store, things like that where I couldn't do down there. I had to like it was
Yeah.
that was the biggest Walmart I ever saw in my life. The super Walmart, because we didn't have Walmarts in the city back then. We barely have it now to this day. You know what I mean? But just seeing that, it was a difference. But I met a lot of people from all over, from San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, West Texas. So just to see people that were just so different, talk different, the food was different as well. So I was like, okay, this is cool, So I made some adjustments. And then my friends started coming down to visit, to come to games. They was coming down like, man, I gotta go back home.
You're bringing the environment to you, right?
Yeah, to go back home, man. The weed is cheaper down here. So I'm like, oh my God.
But I think you're making a good point here. You're making a good point because I think that's hard. That's the hardest part, is that you kind of want to keep your community that you've grown up with, but sometimes your community is not actually what's best for you at the time, right? And so how do you navigate that space, especially when you're young? Because when you're young, I think it affects you a little bit differently than when you get older. You don't necessarily care as much.
Yeah, I think the final straw with me was like two of my friends got killed. So within about like a 6-month span, I had two friends killed. My cousin was killed by the police.
Oh, wow.
So for mistaken identity, it's that alone, and then just friends going away, for their vacations. I was like, you know what? I have to, maybe me getting away, I can help out in some capacity.
Right.
I was always a fast forward thinker. I'm a tourist, so we think about everything. We just do. We think about stuff. We're kind of quiet at some points because we take time to kind of like, how can we deliver? Some of us like perfectionists. We're like, well, okay, what can we do to be the best person for the world? No, we can't please everybody, but that's always like our mission. And that's why we're very receptive people. And that's what comes from, because like I'm doing this to open things up, but others may not see our vision at the time, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I see what you."
No, I think that's the hardest part for me, is that you want to help, and sometimes you want to grab people and put them in a chokehold and be like, "Hey, let me help you," but that's not how it works, right? It's not how it works. You're just the platform. And you bring them to the water and you say, hey, this water is clear and it's great. And they can choose when to drink it. And sometimes they're not thirsty right then, right? It's just, you just have to wait. And that can be hard when you know that it could be something that's good for them, right? And so I think that's the hardest part for me, trying to have an impact and then being like, oh, you don't want to be impacted though? You don't want to be helped? But I think that everybody has a journey, because I also know that I've been on the other side of that, where somebody has told me something and I've been like, sure, whatever. And then later on, I was like, oh man, I missed that lesson when they told me it the first time. So
we all go through it, hit our head, don't we? Like, damn, they told me this.
I should have listened. It's like, if I had been smarter, but I just wasn't there yet. You gotta kind of roll with it. I want to be respectful of your time, because I know you've been really flexible with me today, but I want to ask you, what brings you the most joy right now?
I think it is, family is always first to me. Like I love my family so much. It's always puts a smile on my face. But also important is the running piece too. I just recently ran a Chicago Marathon. So training for the next one as well. But
now, Muffy, I gotta ask you about this marathon thing, because you mentioned running, and listen, in my mind, that's great. In my body, I just don't. Because listen, back in the day, I ran track, right? But I was a sprinter. I was not a long distance runner, right? It seems like and I go and I support people who are running their marathons. I will hold the biggest sign and I will, cheer. And I might do a 5K every once in a while when I can, right? But I'm going to walk that 5K. Nothing in my brain says, you know what? Let's go run longer than a mile just because. It's hard for me to conceptualize how that's a great time for you. So can you kind of give me a little bit of your mindset there? Have you always wanted to run like that, or like did it kind of progress as a challenger? What happened with that?
Yeah, so growing up, I always wanted to run a marathon. We have an aunt. She's ran, I think, 16 or 17 now. And sports has always been a huge competitive thing in our family. Over 21 or 22 Division I athletes in my family.
Okay.
I went volleyball, basketball, football, track, field. I mean, you name it. We have it. So with me, I tore my meniscus in college, where over time, it's an injury. You gotta properly, heal it, ice it, all the things. And just with a doctor visit, I did ask my doctor about, long distance running.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was out the question. So I saw someone else, another specialist. And like, as long as you strengthen your knee, you can do these things. Same thing. I was a bad asthmatic growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I use my inhaler often too. And I haven't used my inhaler since 2017. I started taking a long time from my herbalist. And I told myself, I'm going to get back into running long distance. I ran 6 half marathons. I'm at my 4th marathon now. So this is something that I wanted to do. And I emailed my doctor, my former doctor, and say, hey, I've ran marathons. You know what I mean? Just to
Yes.
I haven't had any pain at all, actually. So that was inspiration story from my own perspective.
I hear you.
And so that's for me. And I tell people all the time, everyone is not going to run a marathon, but movement, you can walk some miles. And that's what our Run and Our Walk Club, what we do is you can run 5 miles on a Wednesdays, or you can walk 3. You pick. We always meet up at the same time because of distance and time.
Right.
It gives you rhythm. Where we had walkers that said, I'm going to give it a try, was able to run. And we stop every mile too, just for like safety purposes, how you stretch, you need oxygen, water, whatever it is like that. But we build individuals up. So we just don't throw people in.
Are you out there? I'm not just gonna go out there in 20 years.
So no, we're gonna build you up the same way my aunt helped me growing up. You know what I mean? So that's been my inspiration behind that, and just people emailing out saying, hey, I've been inspired. What do I need to do? And I'm like, for real? Okay, this is cool. So that makes me happy. But think about how many that we're inspiring and how many that they're inspiring. So now in our Black community, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, man, you just, in my mind, I'm like, you ran for 4 hours or 3 hours. Like that to me is like that's a flight. I could fly to you in Chicago in the time, And so I get it though. I really do. And I appreciate the people who enjoy it. And maybe I won't ever say that I won't do something, because I could get a wild hair and be like, you know what, I want to challenge myself to do that. But I just always think it's so interesting when people are like, oh, the runner's high. And I'm like, I need it at the beginning. You got to give me the high before we start, because I don't see it. But I'm always intrigued by how people get out there and they run. And I see people running and pushing themselves. But I also think that, we all have our things that we like to challenge ourselves doing. And for some people it's running, and some people it's jumping off of high things. And as long as, we're making ourselves better, I guess it does make a difference. But I do like the idea of creating a healthy habit though of movement, because I feel like that we don't always have the opportunity to move in our busy days, and it helps with your mental clarity and things like that. So has movement, from what you've seen, how does that actually interact with your health overall, and you've seen with people who are dealing with prostate cancer and things like that?
Yeah, it helps a lot because you're walking, you're running, and your heart pumping. Your body is in love with this. It's movement, right? So and we know we're all smart enough now to know fitness is fit. You
Yes.
you get into shape, and then you see it. The women take pictures in the mirrors, like I'm looking good. I lost weight,
Yes.
So that makes you feel good,
Yes.
right? It makes you feel happy that you're on a new start. You say, "Hey, I'm my goal is to lose 5 pounds. How am I going to get there?" So that's a healthy state of mind. Saying, "This is my goal. I'm going to get there. I'm going to training. I'm gonna go to that walk club. I'm gonna go to that run club. I'm gonna meet somebody that may be on the same journey as me." And
Right.
our bodies, we have to understand we are built on electricity. That's our body, like the positive energies.
Mm-hmm.
In this room, you see it. Look at all our smiles that we're all dancing together.
Yes.
Even our favorite song come on, we're singing together. We never
Mhm.
met each other before, but we all in this place singing.
Yes.
That's positive energy that we're bringing to the table. So I love like the images, the videos. So many blacks 10 years ago, you never saw this, right?
Yeah.
Social media wasn't, it evolved so much, but seeing so many people encourage each other, getting happy, walking together, running, moving, you got line dance groups now and stuff. Like, okay, this is dope.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And there's so many ways to move, right? And I was giving respect of your time, so I'm gonna continue to do that. But before we go, and before I get to my last question, I want to make sure that we pinpoint how people can reach you and how they can support Run from Prostate Cancer, and anything else that you want to plug. But how can they reach you, and what can they do to help?
Yeah, it's easy for us, and we communicate often. Our email is runfromprostatecancer@yahoo.com. We got Yahoo, so
I was just about to say Muffy.
we've been doing this for a while. Everyone be laughing like Yahoo, like we still Yahoo.
You might as well have said AOL.
But the people like, oh, it's easy for them to remember because it's Yahoo. But from prostatecancer@yahoo.com. We communicate back with his questions about getting to the right doctors, the right support, private conversations. You can email that there. We're on Instagram, Run From Prostate Cancer. Our website is under construction now. We have so many like images and video content that they want to put up there. It's a lot over the past 10 years. So we're coming up on our 10th anniversary, just for events and programming. But definitely, if you want any knowledge about like any questions, it doesn't matter what it is, please email us and we will get back to you.
Yahoo.com. Okay, so last question. What does good enough today mean to you right now?
I think it's how you wake up, how you approach the day. You know what I mean? Like, we're always so hard on ourselves. We rarely give ourselves grace. I learned that to give myself grace. Like, okay, this is good enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes we have to get out our own way. And you try
to. You said a word.
Yeah, just step back, zoom out, deep breath. And this is what I do every day. Like, I wake up like, okay, how can I be better today? All right, okay. Yesterday we did this. And it's stepping stones for everything you do. Whether it's learning something, becoming a partner in an organization, new job, whatever the case it is like that. Just showing up for yourself, but giving yourself grace and breathing and enjoying the opportunity that we woke up another day. So I always say like that, okay, that's good enough. And then just follow the footsteps. What's next?
No, I think that's amazing. And I think that what you've done today is you've blessed us with your presence, but the information. And also, we want to thank you for what you're doing for our community and helping to make sure that our Black men are healthy and that they understand what they can do to continue to live healthy lives, but inspire other people to be healthy too. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining us. and talking about the importance of community, because I think that we all are going through our own things, but if we come together, we can all be positive. And I want to remind everybody out there that even though things might not be going the way that you think they should be going, and there be some hard times, you can remain hopeful for tomorrow, but know that you're absolutely good enough today.
Hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today. Oh yeah, hopeful for tomorrow, good enough today.